one time we're swimming, and then you see the braid that has made its way off your head, and it's just there floating along.
You know when you're like, am I alone? I was alone, lost in the forest in Madagascar.
And she walks up to me and she goes, Abariako, how did you come to Germany? Where's your husband? I was like, no husband.
So here we are, we three queens. I'm Achieng.
And I'm Musonda.
I'm Micheline.
And today we're going to be talking about navigating a move. Now, all of us at some point in our lives have made a move, whether it's moving towns, moving cities, moving countries, moving continents. We make a move. And when you make those moves, the toughest part of it is actually integrating, you know? Settling it. How do you figure out where to go, where to do your shopping, how to find a house, how to get to the office, all those things. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that and just kind of share some experiences around that. And I know you two have done a hell of a lot of moving. So any experiences you want to share?
I remember going to Germany in the late 90s and I arrived on a Saturday mid-morning. And I remember the organizers of this, it was kind of like a long-term course that I was on, and they had left a list in German. And I thought, oh, okay, the list. And the gentleman was like, you've got to go to the shops now. You've got to go now very quickly because they're going to close at 4 o'clock. Yeah. And I was wondering, why is he insisting? Anyway, so I forgot the list in my room, got to the shop, and I'm looking at everything in the shelves and thinking, what is going on? So, excuse me, and then they'll look at me. I said, this is Dresden, yeah, former East Germany. Excuse me, chicken. Was? And I was like, oh my goodness, the list. I forgot the list. For the food. Nobody spoke to me in English.
List in German with all the items. I wasn't getting that.
Nobody spoke to me in English. Quickly. I was on that course, intense course, 2 months.
Even that or starve.
Yeah. So now I would go in and I was like, Entschuldigung, Sie bitte. Haben Sie das Hundchen oder, you know? Now I became the expert. I was like, I will not starve in this foreign country. I better learn this language quickly, very quickly. Oh, it was so daunting, so daunting. And everything on Saturday closed at 4.
Really?
Everything, the small stores, everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And everything was in German. Of course, I didn't know a word of German. I was like, okay. Yeah. Time to learn a new language.
Yeah. It's so easy. You can always either panic or tell yourself, okay, I gotta make a plan. You really made a plan, like fast.
Yeah. Very quickly. Incredibly quickly for me to eat.
Yes, exactly. And what about you, Mish?
I'm thinking through all these examples. Yeah. I've picked the States. Interestingly, I just remembered going to college. So first I went to Florida to my number 2 school before I was to move out to Massachusetts. So I'm in Florida. And the weekend comes. I think I got there Thursday, Friday is figuring out the curriculum, school, what to do. Saturday, I'm like, what do I do? Now they put me with the only other one of the few black girls in school. And she was a sophomore, second year, I was a first year. So she's like, girl, I'm gonna go get my hair done. So I was like, I'm just fresh from Nairobi. I'm sitting in my room, I'm missing my parents. My parents still lived in Kenya, later moved to New York. And I'm thinking she'll be back in 2 hours. Like I have no friends. She's gone to get her hair done. Yeah. She'll be back. What? And this is 11:30. Girlfriend comes back at 7 p.m. And her hair is all amazing. It was lovely, relaxed, one of those short Halle Berry-like haircuts. So long story short, I was like, so this doing your hair thing is a thing. Girl, let me tell you, the braids, the nice small braids I had come with, fresh from Kenyatta Market, I think. Yeah. They were taken out in no time. No? Yeah, because I said, I'm going to go get my hair done too. Because I was like, this is the only way I can actually hang out with my roommate. So I basically made sure that I could hang out with her. And then I realized that whole African-American scene of doing your hair, that just gives me life even now as I think about it. Because I'd be like, girl, what you doing? What you gonna do? There's a little nappy over here. And I'll just be there like, I was thinking we could do a wash and blow dry. Girl, ain't nobody do that. No, we're gonna cut it down. We're gonna cut these naps. And I'm like, what are naps? She's like, girl, what's all that nappy hair you got on your head? I'm like, nappy hair? And then, you learn all this lingo. And before you know it, you're in the culture and you're in the community. And why that was really good for me is my school was mostly white. And so I quickly integrated into Pan-American culture, which as you know, and as you all know, even just from TV, if you haven't been there and stuff, can be quite racially bifurcated, right? There's a black scene, there's a white scene. So for me, it just got me right into wow, this is how the black people live.
I remember the first time I traveled, we went to Germany. We were 15 years old or 16 years old, and it was an exchange program with my secondary school, Kenya High School. And so, of course, we've done our long braids till here, we're excited.
The braids are so hilarious.
Exactly.
Can I just ask, why do we do them again? Because I did mine just because it's long lasting. Is that why you did long braids?
Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about what to do with your hair every morning.
Exactly.
It's a thing, actually, when people travel, people tend
you
to
look at these
do the braids.
And they're small and they're long. Like they're gonna last a year. 2 months, no matter how tiny your braids are,
they start
like the girl, they told me the naps. The naps.
So with ours, so we get on the plane, we're a group of kids, excited, traveling for the first time. So we get to Germany, we went to Heidelberg in Germany. For me, the interesting thing, a lot of those people hadn't seen black people. And I remember, you know how it is when the braids get loose?
Yeah.
So they'd come and admire our hair and ask us if it was our hair. And of course, we're like, yes, it's our hair. Oh, we're not giving away our trade secrets. Na. Until one time we're swimming, and then you see the braid that has made its way off your head, and it's just there floating along. Let me tell you, you keep a secret between friends. Whoever's braid it was, you grab it.
You grab it and continue the rest.
No, this is a secret. So we just rolled with the whole, we bring our culture, we embrace yours, the secret is out, it's okay. But that was just, I think, one of the things where I guess you kind of bring your culture and people want to understand your culture, and you in turn want to understand theirs. And I think an important part of integrating is actually allowing that, that cross-pollination of cultures and experiences, Mus, you were talking earlier on about kindness being an important part of your experiences. Do you want to share a bit about that?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, everywhere I've moved to or lived, it's really been my dependence on the kindness of strangers. I've been so fortunate, and also trusting my instinct that, is this genuine or is it not genuine? I think women, we tend to be more instinctive around that. And I remember when I moved to Switzerland, and there was this woman, and this woman comes up to me, and she was so sweet, her soft-natured face and just really wonderful being, Amalia. She comes up to me and she goes, Musonda, I just wanted to tell you that it's going to start getting darker. This is my first time I'm living in the middle of winter, right? It's going to start getting darker. And so the only place you can see the sun is in the mountains, and you have to learn how to ski. I was like, oh, okay. Skiing it shall be then.
Wow. Really?
And I learned to ski.
Really?
Yes. And it was the only place I could see sunlight.
Yeah.
And I think that's where really I also embraced the love of mountains and just took it all in.
Wow.
Took it all in. And it's that kindness of that stranger coming to me that and we have to appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what strikes me is Brazil. So when I moved to Brazil, it was about 2012, and I moved for work. There's a friend I met, and she's American. She doesn't speak Portuguese. By then I was intermediate. And she went to the supermarket, was buying some groceries, stood in line, saw a lady that she thought was African American, and said hi. And this lady, turns out, doesn't speak English. So the lady said, eu não falo English, I don't speak English. So my friend and this Brazilian are having a conversation.
Wow.
And what my friend understood, Amaka, she's a Nigerian, American. So what she understood was that, wow, this woman doesn't speak Portuguese, maybe she speaks French. So my friend Amaka spoke in her broken French to this lady to ask her if she spoke French. Right? To which Adriana, the Brazilian, said, yes, I do. So they had a very broken conversation. As part of that conversation, my girlfriend, Amaka, says, I have a friend, Micheline, and she speaks French. And so let's all meet up. Do you know, Adriana, the Brazilian, gave my friend her number. My friend came home excitedly, told me about the stranger she met in a supermarket.
Yeah.
The next day, Adriana called us, invited us to a dinner at hers.
Oh, wow.
Adri, if you're listening, this is crazy. We went to this dinner. That just became my crew. She kept inviting and inviting and inviting us, inserted us into this world that I would never have gotten into.
Yeah.
Kindness.
Absolutely.
She was like, what, you're new? You're new in Sao Paulo? You don't know anyone? Come home. How kind is that? And repeatedly, come home.
Yeah. She's obviously so generous of spirit. Yes. And in the same vein, you were open to embracing and accepting that kindness, you know. Because sometimes you're guarded, you know, it's a new environment, maybe you're not comfortable with the language yet. It's easy to kind of hide and just not accept it. Actually, one of my colleagues in Mauritius, and she happened to also live near me. You know, we lived in the same complex. And she went out of her way. I mean, I think my first week, all my dinners were in her house.
Wow.
Completely, she just decided this one might starve. Yeah. Let me just make sure she has. So she'd always invite me or, you know, do you have something to eat? Do you need anything? She really opened up her home and her heart to me.
Late 90s, I'm in Madagascar, boom. Left the States from school and went to Madagascar to work. International development, you've got to get experience overseas. I'm thinking, oh, Madagascar. My first job ever. I didn't know. Madagascar. Any Malagasy, Manaona. So anyway, so there I am. I didn't even know the Manaona, which is high. So my first weekend, the expat community, mostly Americans, Brits, a few Malgache say, let's go on a hash. You know, the hash is like this running club.
Yeah.
I think there's one in Kenya, I'm sure.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
So off I go. I'm like, oh, a hash, oh, running. You know, I'm like semi-fit. We get to the place and it's like foresty. It's like this karura, you know, just like a forest, but the trail was marked out.
Yeah.
So they say, follow the trail. So I'm following and, you know, following the trail with a group of people. But at some point they were too fast and I was like, it's just a trail. I'll just follow it. I lost the trail. I was like, where's the trail? There was no trail. It was marked in chalk. It was supposed to be, you know, go left, right, straight.
At some point.
Nada. And I'm like, where's you know where you're like, am I alone? I was alone.
Oh
it's so crazy as I think about it. It has an okay ending because eventually, so what do? I'm lost for, I think, 2 hours.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to run and walk and stuff, but now it's getting dark and I'm getting lost.
Were there people in the
park?
No, it
was empty.
Oh my God.
So do you know what? At some point I find like one of those little rough maram roads and there's a matatu. So I get in the matatu, imagine now with my shorts and everything, and I'm like, Manaona, and they don't really speak French. Because when you get like further from the city and stuff, they don't speak French, so it's Malagasy. So he's like, where are you going? And then I was like, there. And I just sat in front and just pretended. I was like, there. As soon as the small little road led to a big one, I got off. And miraculously, now the expat crew, the hash organizers, had started looking for me. And I had probably been going in like circles and so on. So it was like that one main road. It's like being lost in Karura and there's that one Limuru road or something. And they were like, Mish, where were you? There were these little kids. I think they're like, 18 years old now. They were crying because it was like my new cute little baby friends who were, I was bonding with. They made it through the forest trail. I don't know how I didn't make it. I promise I do work out. Anyway, that was weird. Lost in the forest in Madagascar.
Oh my God, that is crazy. So this mat, now that you couldn't speak the language, at least you had money on you, right?
I had no money. All I remember is some short shorts. Okay, they weren't so short. I do not wear shorts. Well, whatever. Medium shorts. Let's say they were medium. I'm just trying to think. But all of a sudden, they felt short. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sitting in this matatu, then the legs are there. And Malagasy are quite small as well. They were medium shorts. But they didn't have money. So in the matatu, I was just like, there. The guy's like, pay. I'm like, there. Boom, before you know it, I'm out of the matatu.
When it comes back to that point, I think they were just kind. They realized this frazzled woman has probably, she doesn't have money, she can't speak the language. Let's just do our good deed of the day.
That's it.
I'm sure they were hopefully as concerned as I.
That's crazy. Yeah. Do you have a wild one? Did you say a wild one?
I have loads of wild ones, but we could go on and on and on and on, But anyway, mine is, I'll be quick about it. But, so in Germany, I'm in this disco. So back to my German story. So I walk into this disco. So a friend of mine invites me, a German friend, says, we have to go. I don't think we've seen a black person there. I was like, oh, okay. Same situation, long hair, braids. I walk in and everybody's like, the bounce on the door moves off and just like, and he introduces me to the owner. And the owner is like, oh, you come in for free. I was like, so I was in that, party every Friday, sometimes Saturday, for free. You know, for a good 6-7 weeks or something like that. Because I was like, oh, she was like, look, the only one who was on the dance floor with her hair.
So funny. Then everybody wants to copy your moves. All of a sudden, you're like the queen of dance moves, right?
Now, 6th week or thereabouts, beeline, a black woman walks in my direction. I'm like, oh, I am not the only queen in the kingdom. This is serious. She walks up to me and she goes, "Habari yako?" I was like, Salama. It's like, oh, umetoka Kenya? I said, no, not from Kenya, from Zambia. Oh, but you speak Swahili. Oh, so how did you come to Germany? Where's your husband? I was like, no husband. I'm here to study.
Yeah, I guess with all these things, you know, when you move to a new country, you just have to kind of open, you know, just be flexible and really just kind of open your mind to the experience. I mean, you could have just as easily gone to that club and felt intimidated or uncomfortable because you were the only black person. But, you know, you kind of went with the flow. So, you know, I guess that's what, you know, that's what it's about. So if you were to give any last words of advice or any words of advice to somebody, you know, moving to a new country, what would you guys, what would be your words of advice to somebody?
My piece of advice is be open-minded, be curious, go for it, experience what's local.
Do it, even when you don't want to.
Embrace the experience, the people, the culture, the food, the everything. Open your mind and embrace it. Otherwise, it becomes a difficult, painful journey. So with that, ladies, it's a wrap.
Yes, oh my God, this is so much fun.
I know, right? Well, we'll soon be talking about travel because I think there's lots to talk about on travel and food and all that stuff. Yeah, the food one. But until then, here we are, we three queens. Bye-bye.